This is the Nexus Balisong, manufactured entirely in the USA by Revo Knives. Revo Knives is a manufacturer based out of Meade, Colorado. Their team is composed of Thomas Ward, Edward Anthonys, and Lawrence Hull. Thomas is an industrial designer with an extensive history in the knife industry, having worked for Kershaw's ET, Southern Grind, Case, Buck, and Magpul. Flippers will know Ed and Lawrence as the founders of Blade Runner Systems. They are legendary flippers from the early days of the internet. One of my favorite finishing moves, the Van Gogh, was personally crafted by Ed. That being said, Revo Knives has an excellent pedigree when it comes to balisongs and knives in general. The Nexus Balisong has a 154cm Stonewash Scorpion Weehawk style blade. The handles are 70-75 aluminum and have ceramic bearing pivots. It weighs 4.7 ounces. The overall length is 10.25 inches. The cutting edge is 4 inches long. The locking mechanism is Zen pins and the hardware are T10 Torx. The Nexus Balisong is made completely in their Meade, Colorado factory, with the exception of the bevel grinding and screws, which are also done in the US. It is modern mass manufacturing perfection, composed of completely interchangeable parts. A BRS Alpha Beast, as you yourself may have found out, can be assembled incorrectly, resulting in candy cane chevrons. With the Nexus, there are two bores for Zen pins, and the features of the handle slab are symmetrical. Thus, whatever configuration is assembled in, it is correct. Another huge side effect of completely interchangeable parts is that there is no tuning pivots or bushings. The parts of a Nexus Balisong are manufactured, finished, and then simply assembled into a complete knife ready for sale. This means that should you need a replacement part, such as a pivot assembly, Revo Knives would be able to send you a drop-in part with no fitting required. The 3/16 diameter pivots have an oversized head that distributes the load of the screw over a wider area over the bearings, as well as hiding a key unique feature. The hardware and handles are keyed. This prevents the pivots from spinning when assembling or tightening the pivot. The spacers are also keyed and are secured by one screw on either side of the handle. I feel this is a feature that is common in folding knives in the form of D-pivots, among other designs, but it is rare in balisongs. For a long time, we have been answering questions on the internet from new balisong owners on how to keep the pivots from spinning, or how to tighten the two screws at the bottom of a replicant or Alpha Beast. With this balisong, the screws will not spin. This will not be a problem. The Nexus Balisong has a handle bias and flips similarly to a BRS Alt Blade Alpha Beast. The handles feature a steel spacer. The spacer is keyed on just one side. I could easily see the manufacturer or the aftermarket making spacers of different mass for the Nexus. The blade comes shaving sharp, and I have it on good authority that each Nexus Balisong has been sharpened by Thomas Ward. In a way, Thomas Ward has personally cut everybody ever cut by a Nexus Balisong. The spine of the blade is uncrowned. It is square and chamfered. The spine configuration is surprisingly comfortable. Having conversed with other Nexus owners, the consensus seemed to be that the uncrowned spine is pleasant to flip with. As you can see from the lack of a locking latch, the Nexus is a balisong that is geared towards flipping. The lack of a hand stop to prevent the hand from sliding forward when making violent stabbing motions prevents me from calling this a tactical or defensive knife. But I must say, this is a big, aggressive knife. While it is not ideal, I am sure it could be pressed into those roles, and it definitely makes a fun EDC or utility knife. I will preface this next section by telling you I received my Nexus Balisong as part of my participation in the Revo Knives Nexus Cup, an online balisong competition where 16 competitors will all compete with the same balisong, the Revo Knives Nexus. My unboxing experience, while I doubt will be different than anyone else's, may be different than some of the retail customers. Out of the box, the pivots were bone dry and they squeaked rather comedically. The handles still swung freely regardless of the fact that the pivots were dry. Once oiled, the handle swung even more freely. The new Nexus squeak went away and the handles began to make a more cavernous aluminum ringing sound. Another thing I noticed out of the box was that the Nexus hardware did not come with thread locker. Now I would prefer my balisongs come with hardware pre-thread locked, but my prior experience in the Balisong community had shown that people break off screw heads, strip hardware, and generally, curiosity gets the better of us flippers and we disassemble our brand new Balisongs and do maintenance and apply our own thread locker. After all, we are gearheads and we can't help but tinker. I would prefer thread locker, but to be honest, basically none of my EDC flippers have thread locker, and I carry around a Torx driver like a degenerate. In this next slide, I've included an image of the Nexus next to some other popular Balisongs for size comparison. Here I'll show you the Nexus Balisong next to another popular aluminum-handled Balisong, the Crake Raken from Squid Industries. As you can see, the handle width and blade width overall of the Nexus Balisong is wider than on the Crake Raken. The length is basically the same. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the Revo Knives Nexus Balisong. Now enough talking, let's blade!